Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Daily. Here I am. My StarCraft 2 crashed, and I want to show you what I was intending to show before the things ended. We'll just do a little recap of what we've seen. TaeJa's basically doing this simple V pattern where he's pulling back, hitting a base, pulling back, hitting a base, pulling back, hitting a base. This sort of drop, defended by virtue of his army was just there. And then as we speed the game up, we're going to see yet another drop take form. And why is it safe? Because of vision. So I'm actually going to go to the TaeJa cam. The vision line, everywhere this medevac is passing through, has a clear vision sense. And see how nice that was? We had visions. We were able to do that. We don't have to commit to the drop, but, you know. That is an option. But anytime the Mutalisks are out of position, a drop is going to be a great way to force the lings and banelings over here to deal with it. So here's the lings, banelings. Mutalisks are over here. I don't remember this part of the replay, but I'd say there's a 90% chance that this drop encourages ling baneling to move over here. And by the way, even note that the drops take the V pattern. So sieging up, tanks siege down very low. Couple units sneak on down. This Marauder is almost irrelevant to the analysis, but hey. There's the Zerglings over there. The Mutalisks out of position, so this drop can sweep in. Either the ling banelings show up there, or it dies. Upon seeing Mutalisks down here, and Zerglings down here, TaeJa, I think, does an absolutely brilliant maneuver. He actually sends 2 medevacs up there. Actually, we'll come back to the 21-minute mark to show that. Isn't that suave? So here's the drop moving over, covered because it pulled back along this V path. We have a sense the Mutalisks are somewhere down here. So we see the Mutalisks over here. Let's go to the TaeJa cam. This is so cool. Okay, so look at this command center. It's actually going to try to land here. But watch, watch, watch. He sees these dudes, and then he pulls back. He sends those dudes up upon seeing the Zerglings here. His command center is trying to head up this way, where his army is. Notice the relationship between this command center going there and this whole army being nearby there. This drop guaranteed to do damage. This drop guaranteed to do damage because the Mutalisks are out of position. I think a little more importantly, most of the Zerglings is out of position. TaeJa, unfortunately, can't really save this in time. I think it's smart that he cut back here. Just a little unfortunate. This drop did do some nice damage, and hey, remember what we've been saying before? Yeah, the drops get the banelings out of position, yeah! Oh, yeah. Here's the only time that TaeJa has ever attacked this third base. Why? Because the Mutalisks are out of position, the banelings are out of position. Great. With banelings being out of position, we can sprint forward with siege tanks. Only once things stop being clearly out of position, only once we're really losing sight of these banelings, does TaeJa have to begin sieging all these tanks up. Now this is a very far encroachment. Why this? Well, notice right now, 2 things are accomplished. 1, this expansion is covered, and 2, this expansion is essentially covered. We've achieved our goals. Do we have to attack here? No, we do not. There's no need to attack. We've moved up here, denied his ability to get these bases, so we're not gonna unsiege at the cost of losing tanks, but as early as possible, we kinda wanna get the hell out of here. Rebuilding 4th Command Center. Adding on Thors. Things rallied back to deal with any sort of counterattack. And there's the retreat. Medevac here. Might be a mistake, but honestly it looks a little bit more like he's just trying to make sure that nothing else can swing up at him. And all these dudes that have been left at home can easily deal with this counterattack. The goal is still the same. Kill this base and kill this base.
Base is under attack.
So TaeJa's kind of like, alright, I think I'm good right now. I think I'm good in my main base. So he cuts up here, so that way he can check out this place, and then he sees that there's no expo, so cool, he pulls back, and he instantly scans the right side. Everything is just constantly revolves around this, like, V. Pulling back, and then moving up, and pulling back, and moving up. So, alright, this drop was covered, because the army was there. So now we're making this cut across to just do the simple attack up here. This attack should likely get our opponent a little bit out of position. Blindly, TaeJa is just going for Vikings. Broodlords could mess with him a little bit, so he's actually just kind of blindly going that. I actually don't even think... Yeah, there is a Greater Spire. Doesn't really matter. I mean, he did the simple logic. I saw the hive, so I will build the Vikings. But the complexity is really in these sorts of tactics. So, okay, here's the drop. We saw a lot of Zerglings. We see... Okay, now we really see the Zergling baneling. So, alright, go for the attack. Yu-Gi-Oh's playing this out really stiffly with a lot of counterattacks, really difficult for Terran. There's still that basic underlying thing. The tank's not sieged. Why? Because there's no banelings nearby. The drop from TaeJa just continues to apply pressure. Now that the mutas are out of position and the lings are out of position, this drop should be very, very successful. So, okay. And last but not least, a very cool move from TaeJa.
Upgrade complete.
So this Marine is stemmed to do the basic act of checking that out. Look at where this army is going to be heading. Remember when we saw TaeJa trying to take this expansion here at the left? He took that because his army was there at the left. Here's an attempted re-expand. So watch this. TaeJa. Come on. Come on, TaeJa. Oh, it's not unpaused. TaeJa spots this. Alright, great. He's not there. Instant mobilization to the top right. Workers being sent to the top right. He's expanding along the direction of attack. Or more specifically, he's expanding in a way that allows his army to adequately defend everything. Only just now is TaeJa actually adding on these barracks, because only just now has he started to stabilize enough to be able to do that. So gee golly gosh willikers, with all this amazing transitioning, it was still simple. All the StarCraft 2 strats comes down to them's bases. TaeJa's gonna kill this off, and then guess what direction he'll head. If you said backwards, then my god, you are a damn genius. His expo is here. He'll be turning that into a planetary fortress. Sure, some Marines and Marauders do that sort of stuff, but... Oh, there's no base here. Still nothing wrong with pulling back. Why is TaeJa encroaching along this side? Why is it good to position here? Because he has a base there. There's more of a reason for him to poach onto the right side of the map. And as these Broodlords are coming out, it's a less mobile army. Look at the same strat. Cutting back in a V path. This is protected by sight. Vision. Yu-Gi-Oh! Still just being amazing with these counterattacks, start to finish all game long. And now we begin the standard Terran slow push. Continuing to move things up along the right side. We're more excited and eager to do slow pushes because we have a fourth base on this right side. And the drop cuts all the way back like a V. And if you thought cutting back was wrong, well, nothing wrong with cutting back, man. We've locked him onto 3 bases. Look at that, he went way far forward, and then he cuts way back. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually excellent. TaeJa just plays so well. Cuts on back. Gonna maybe land this. Might even expand there. And the drop gets the Zerglings out of position. I've been saying get this out of position so many times this game that, you know, I'm sure you get it. That's a good place for an expansion. And there you go. Just a magnificent game from TaeJa. Absolutely magnificent. Nothing wrong with pulling back here. If I run this game, I'm a big fan of starvation. So I would probably cut here to kill this off and pull back, and then I'd probably begin cutting back this way to regroup. That'd be my personal preference. TaeJa does an alternative, which is to look at the army and go, oh, I can kill that, and then to just go kill that. Nothing wrong with pulling back and regrouping if you are locking your opponent out of his key expansions. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Let's take some questions. Let's take some great questions from you great people. Marky, one of the wonderful moderators, the head mod of Day9 TV, has an amazing question-grabbing software. It allows me to snatch up your questions. Just begin it with Dear Day9 and it'll be picked up. Here's a great question from Anton Bischoff Frederick. Day9, it feels like I can never build enough spines or spores to defend drops. What should I emphasize to help deal with Terran better? You should emphasize Overlord positioning. Yeah. There's a lot of early Overlord placements that are sort of, I'd almost say, part of a build order, where you begin the game and you're like, all right, I'm going to send my first Overlord to behind his natural expansion there. I'm going to send my second Overlord to over where his second and third join, and that's just what I'm going to do. And a lot of Terrans will build Vikings and kill off those Overlords or do some scouting to kill them off preemptively. But it's around layer tech, when you get Mutalisks up, that you should again be like, all right, now where are all the useful spots for my Overlords? All along the rings of the map. And in a sense, from the Zerg point of view, you should be scooping out control of the vision in the middle. So what happens is, in the middle, you're using your lings and your mutas to sort of like ching, 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 work forward, and then you're just sending Overlords up along the side. I'm actually going to pull to some arbitrary points in the game, just to show you what the vision looks like from Yu-Gi-Oh! And what I would discuss in terms of goals. So, here's what I mean by some of these build order placements. Here's just, oh yeah, send your early Overlord there. In between the second and the third clear paths. Send this behind the base so you can swing in there. And my big goals for vision would be these center watchtowers. Okay, so we have a little bit more vision. There's no reason we can't have this vision centers out here. And then as the 14-minute mark continues on, there was that annoying Viking there. Oh, yeah, look, he has a kill. Oh, we hate that guy. Oh, he's such a jerk. But that's fine. We're getting our Mutalisks up. As we go to the 20-minute mark, here's really what I mean about the lack of vision that we see out of Yu-Gi-Oh! He doesn't control this, even though there's an army right here. And in fact, I should say the army's there. There's no vision control here. There could easily be Overlord, Overlord, Overlord. And yeah, they might get lost, but you will gain a lot more money if you're scooping up more vision. So look at this. The whole army has to cut in and down. And there, last second spotting this. Most of Terran vs. Zerg at a really, really high level can be boiled down to vision control. My god, were there some loud blasts. So yeah, you can get, you know, like a spine and a spore. But for by and large, on most maps, what you really want to be doing is just having better vision control. So this question from Hero Boy says, Day9, what are the main differences between executing a marine tank and biomine push? I would say biomine is more willing to split the army up into small bits. You can have a third of your army here, a third there, and they're all capable of doing strong damage, because the biggest damage dealers really are the mines. They're the ones that really kind of like, poof, swing you way ahead in a heartbeat. So with a marine tank, it's a lot more of like, alright, here, my whole army wants to kill that base. You generally want the whole base dead, so you're going to send the whole army there, and the drops sort of get them out of position. With Biomine, you're looking to just be, honestly, as sort of continuously aggressive as possible. And for a Marine tank, for instance, this is a big defensive point right here, because we want to be able to move up and then cut back and then cut up this way and sort of cut back. So you kind of have these anchor points. But for biomine, even having control of a space like this can be exploited. Having control of this space is almost irrelevant to a marine tanking player. But if you have control, if you have like a mine here and a mine there, you can easily send some marauders and marines up here and bait the marines into this critical piece of land. Never really going to happen with marine tank. Marine tank has to be a lot more glued together. And bomber almost doesn't even really do that many drops. He just keeps his marine tank army all wound up together. Yeah, let's see. Jemsk says, do you think mines would have been a good idea in this game to help with the Zerg counterattacks? My strong answer, like my overwhelming answer, is no. It would be harmful, I think, for two reasons. For one, the best strategies are the best not because there's nothing more to add to them, it's because there's nothing more to take away. Marine tank medevac is excellent because it focuses on 3 units, Marines, tanks, and medevacs, and that's it. And then you saw, wow, there's a lot of mutalisks, still going to go Marines. Only when the mutalisk count gets so unbearable does like a Thor show up, or 2 Thors, and then straight back to Marine tank medevac. So if you're going mines, you're eating into your tank count. You don't want to do that. That means that suddenly your forces are way weaker to banelings, and that's really your biggest concern. So the tanks are pivotal in that sense. And since Marine tank is all about keeping a strong army together, you need the tanks. If you got some mines up, then you'd be sacrificing that. But on another note, I don't think mines are very good at dealing with counterattacks. Just straight up. I mean, like a bunker is good at dealing with a counterattack because it can kill the small counterattack. But a mine will just be like, boom, and kill off like what, 8 lings, like 12 in a really nice blast, and not much more. And then you have 40 whole seconds while that mine's sitting there like a useless dummy. Mines are useful for key planned singular moments. In the early game, they make sense for defense because there's generally a very small set of core units coming up for the attack, and the mines can whittle that away to half size, and your marines can clean up. But for counterattacks, I think mines are the anti. They are bad. They're like the nut low. El Nikeli says, should a drop consist of all Marines? If not, what should be in the medevac? Yeah, it should consist of all Marines, just straight up. There's no real need to bring the tanks along with that. Because again, what is the tank's purpose? The tank's big purpose is to, of course, do a little bit of extra damage to the Zerglings. Completely obliterate roaches. But primarily it's the banelings, that it provides a way for you to pull your marines back, and it absorbs the baneling hits and some of the marine hits. It's primarily an anti-baneling thing, the support. So if you get tanks in the main, I mean, unless your whole army's there, you don't really need the tanks. And if your whole army is in the Zerg's main from a drop, I'd say, why the hell did you drop your whole army? You should just be attacking the front with your whole army. Yeah, so one of the things that's nice about the all-marines is that they're maneuverable, so you can sort of stem and get them back into the medevac and out quickly if need be. And they just kill everything, so they killed everything so fast, so well. So marines almost force an answer. If I drop 2 tanks in your base, you're not going to lose a shitload of drones. But if I drop marines in your base, you're going to lose a shitload of drones, man. Lose a shitload of those. I actually do want to take one more. Why not? Baconspiracy says, why do some people mix in marauders with the marines? Is it because of banelings? It's because of the lack of tanks. So for instance, biomine has a lot of marauders. Why? Because you don't really have a good answer to banelings. Mines certainly aren't that great. They're not reliable. They're good at getting... mines are guaranteed to do some pretty high rewarding shots, but not against anything specifically. Like, it might do an amazing hit on mutas, it might do an amazing hit on zerglings, it might do an amazing hit on banelings, but you don't know which one of those it's going to be. So that's why you have to get the marauders in there. So why did we see a couple of marauders from TaeJa in this game? Because he was having trouble dealing with roaches, but by and large, he went right back to it. You don't want to try to have too much different things. You want to be like, well, maybe I could throw in some marauders and then some ravens and all this and that. You want to have it as lean and focused as possible to do as much damage as possible, which is why, by and large, Terrans go marine, tank, medevac, and then eventually throw in some Vikings, and then as a last step, ravens. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at a Hellbat tank style from Terran vs. Protoss that's been rocking hard in WCS EU games from Straylock. We'll watch Mech Terran vs. Protoss tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun in that episode. It's easy because TaeJa's so good. Oh, love that one. Really, really cool. Really cool.